Welcome to my pottery studio. Today I'm going to be throwing tiny porcelain pots on the pottery wheel. I'm using a technique called throwing off the hump, where I can get many small pots out of one ball of clay. I'm going to be throwing small pots off the hump. That's what we call it, throwing off the hump. So the whole thing here doesn't have to be centered, just the top bit. Now the hardest part, when I have thrown off the hump before, is getting it cut off and not destroying it. I know there's different techniques, so I'm going to try this one. Pin tool going in below the bottom of the pot, hopefully. Okay, one. Okay. I've seen a technique where someone used a string and then spin the wheel and the pot came off with a straight bottom with the string. I need to play around with different methods. So I've got my pin tool. I go straight in, trying to be perfectly horizontal. And then once it gets halfway through, it will have cut all the way through the bottom of the pot, and then I just lift it off. A little water is good, if I can get a little water. It leaves a messy bottom on the pot. I have to go back later and clean it. Did that go all the way through? It's not wanting to lift off. There it goes. And then using the pin tool to help lift it off the wheel. Okay, that's my fourth one. Now I center the top part. Center by coning up and down and up and down. A little bit, doesn't take long to center. And I had that top part pretty centered already. It's too much clay. It's hard to use a teeny tiny bit to make a teeny tiny pot. I don't want to make these small. I'm going to cut off that top bit. I did that. I wasn't thinking of keeping my hands perfectly still because I knew I was going to cut off this top bit. One of the tricky things with throwing, you have to keep your hands perfectly still when you lift them off the pot, or it wobbles. The pot wobbles. with this little pottery, I've got support. So my hand, I'm not just using one hand, I'm supporting it with the other hand. Whatever is touching the pot usually has, see there, just automatically. Put some support with it to keep it steady. I want the surface to be nice and smooth because I plan on carving these pots. I'm going to take them to the gallery downtown Hot Springs where my pottery is, and I'm going to demonstrate out on the street. I'm not going to take my tiny pottery wheel yet. I'm just going to take some little pots to carve. That will be something easy to do on the street. I say on the street, on the sidewalk. Oops. Oh, I think that's okay. I think that came off pretty well. Oops, because it felt like it wobbled. But I think it was good. Just like throwing a bigger pot, throw a little, throw a cylinder first. Here it's a little cylinder. And then we'll shape it. Okay. Cutting it off. With practice, it's been getting easier. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is my 8th one. How many more can I get? I have been losing a lot of the clay because I keep having to cut it off because I pull up too much. Just need a tiny bit. And just need to center the very top. There's not a whole lot of clay left here, but I only need very little. Opening with one thumb and then pulling. You see that? Got too much clay. It's okay, I can recycle all that clay I'm cutting off. It's not going to waste. It's really easier to start with a little bit more clay until I get to this point, then I can start to refine. I'm gonna leave that. I want some thinner, tall little vases. Do this always. I say, I'm gonna leave it, and then I mess with it some more, Like, when is it done? It's done. It's a handful of pottery. These will be glazed in a celadon glaze. I have a clear glaze, and then the celadons, there's a teal, a blue, and a purple. And the pigments settle into texture in the clay, so it works really well with these carved designs. And I can't wait to see them finished. Look for a video in a few weeks with some glazed tiny pottery.
What if you get lost and you're taking this on video? If you get lost, it's going to be on video.